Exodus chapter 29. Now this is what you shall do to us, now this is what you shall do to them to consecrate them for ministering to me as priests, to serve me in the priesthood. Take one young bull and 2 rams without blemish, and unleavened loaves kneaded with oil, and unleavened cakes anointed with oil. You shall make them of wheat flour. You shall put them in one basket, and bring them in the basket, with the young bull and the 2 rams. Then you shall bring Aaron and his sons to the doors of the tabernacle of testimony, and wash them with water. Then, taking the garments, you shall dress Aaron your brother with the cloak, the ephod, the full-length robe, and the oracle, and you shall attach the oracle on the ephod for him. You shall put the mitre on his head, and the sanctified golden plate on the mitre. You shall take the anointing oil, pour it on his head, and anoint him. Then you shall bring his sons and put the robes on them. You shall gird them with sashes, Aaron and his sons, and crest them with turbans. Their priesthood to me shall be for a continual ordinance, so you shall consecrate Aaron and his sons. You shall also have the young bull brought before the tabernacle of testimony, and Aaron and his sons shall put their hands on the head of the young bull before the Lord at the doors of the tabernacle of testimony. Then you shall kill the young bull before the Lord at the doors of the tabernacle of testimony. You shall take some of the blood of the young bull and put it on the horns of the altar with your finger, and pour all the blood beside the base of the altar. You shall take all the fat that covers the entrails, the fatty lobe attached to the liver, and the 2 kidneys and the fat on them, and burn them on the altar. But the flesh of the young bull, with its skin and offal, you shall burn with fire outside the camp. It is a sin offering. You shall also take 1 ram, and Aaron and his sons shall put their hands on the head of the ram, and you shall kill the ram and take its blood, and sprinkle it all around on the altar. Then you shall cut the ram in pieces, wash its entrails and legs, and put them with its pieces and its head. You shall offer the whole ram on the altar. It is a whole burnt offering to the Lord for a sweet aroma, an offering of incense to the Lord. You shall also take the 2nd ram, and Aaron and his sons shall put their hands on the head of the ram. Then you shall kill the ram and take some of its blood, and put it on the tip of Aaron's right earlobe, on the thumb of his right hand, on the big toe of his right foot, and on the earlobes of his sons, and on the thumbs of their right hands, and on the big toes of their right feet. You shall take some of the blood on the altar, and some of the anointing oil, and sprinkle it on Aaron and his robe, on his sons, and on his sons' robes with him. And he and his garments shall be sanctified, and his sons' garments with him. But the blood of the ram you shall pour all around on the altar. You shall also take the fat of the ram, and the fat that covers the entrails, the fatty lobe attached to the liver, the 2 kidneys and the fat on them, the right thigh, for it is a ram of consecration, and 1 loaf of bread, 1 unleavened cake from the basket of unleavened bread set before the Lord. And you shall put all these things in the hands of Aaron and in the hands of his sons, and you shall set them aside as a separate offering before the Lord. You shall receive them from their hands and offer them on the altar as a whole burnt offering, as a sweet aroma before the Lord. It is an offering to the Lord. Then you shall take the breast from the ram of Aaron's consecration and set it aside before the Lord. It shall be your portion. You shall sanctify the reserved breast and the shoulder that was lifted, both that which was reserved and that which was lifted, from the ram of consecration, both Aaron's portion and that of his sons. It shall be for Aaron and his sons an ordinance forever among the children of Israel. For it shall be a special offering from the children of Israel, from their peace offerings, a special offering to the Lord. Moreover, Aaron's holy garment of the sanctuary shall be his sons after him, to be anointed and consecrated in them. That son who succeeds him as priest shall put them on for 7 days when he enters the tabernacle of testimony, to minister in the holy place. You shall then take the ram of the consecration and boil its flesh in the holy place. Then Aaron and his sons shall eat the flesh of the ram and the bread in the basket by the doors of the tabernacle of testimony. They shall eat those things by which they were sanctified to consecrate their hands. But an outsider shall not eat them, because they are holy. If any of the flesh of the consecration offerings or of the loaves remains until the morning, you shall burn the remainder with fire. It shall not be eaten, because it is holy. Thus you shall do for Aaron and his sons, according to all I have commanded you. 7 days you shall consecrate their hands. You shall sacrifice a young calf for the sin offering on the day of purification. You shall purify the altar when you perform a consecration on it, and anoint it so as to sanctify it. 7 days you shall purify the altar and sanctify it, and the altar shall be most holy. Whatever touches the altar will be holy. Now this is what you shall offer on the altar: 2 unblemished lambs of the first year, day by day continually. 1 lamb you shall offer in the morning, and the other lamb you shall offer in the evening. With the 1 lamb shall be 1/10 of a measure of fine flour mixed with 1/4 of a hin of pressed oil, and 1/4 of a hin of wine as a drink offering. The other lamb you shall offer in the evening, as at the morning offering, and according to the drink offering of the morning lamb. You shall offer it as a sacrifice of sweet aroma to the Lord. This shall be a continual sacrifice throughout your generations at the doors of the tabernacle of testimony before the Lord, where I will be known to you to speak to you. There I shall give directions to the children of Israel, and I shall be sanctified in my glory. So I will sanctify the tabernacle of testimony and the altar. I will also consecrate both Aaron and his sons to minister to me as priests. I will be called upon among the children of Israel, and I will be their God. So they shall know I am the Lord their God, who brought them up out of the land of Egypt, to be called upon among them and to be their God.